and welcome back to The Best Thing You Watched This week. We've got Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself, Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. I'm very excited. This week is going to be an interesting one because I think we're actually going to have quite a few varying things to talk about this week, which is always good for me because I want to know what Chris is watching that he's found good or vice versa, and whether we're going to differ on any of those. The Best Thing We Watched, that's always fun. We've got some interesting things to talk about in the audio exclusive this week. We're covering a Disney movie that both Chris and I, a live action version, recently that we missed, which is Under the Sea. Can you guess which one it is?
Under the sea, you go down and kiss the girl.
La, 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 la. La, la, la. Now that I've ruined that for you. The general format is we talk about the best things we watch. We do audio exclusive, so wherever you listen to podcasts, we are on there. We do a movie we haven't watched before or haven't seen for a long time. Then we talk about entertainment news, what we're looking forward to, and possibly not the best thing we watched this week. Not necessarily terrible, but maybe just didn't quite reach our "you're going to be in the video segment" part of.
Oh, mine is terrible.
Oh, yours terrible?
Mine is a cautionary tale. Yeah,
okay, great. Okay, that'll be really fun. Also, our Patreon videos are still going up by at least one every week. This week, we're talking about our top 3 best dead directors. We've done living directors, but those that have passed away, sadly, that we used to love. This one was an interesting one for me because a lot of people go for those kind of classics that you know when you think about passed away directors, but actually the last 10-15 years we've had some really great creatives that have passed away that for me are more personal to me, not necessarily better. So I think we're gonna have a good discussion with that one, so check that out on Patreon. There's over 60 videos there at the moment where you can get just most of those for just £1 or $1.50, and there's some out of the pay scale wall just for you to have a look at as well. Chris is nodding so that he can say something without saying something because I'm using all the words up at the moment.
That's okay. You do the introduction. We're all good.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay. I think it's good. I think I'm gonna have fun this week because I'm a little bit heat stroked, Chris. I'm sitting in my room. I've made a makeshift set because the conservatory where I have my set is 35 degrees inside. And we don't have, like you guys in America, like aircon to make it cool.
Yeah.
So you just die. Because England normally is like, the sky is falling. It's dark. It's miserable. Mm-hmm. It's rainy. Kind of your weather, Chris.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. Yeah.
But because of climate change that doesn't exist, everything is topsy-turvy or topsy-scurvy, whichever one you would like.
Eat more oranges.
Yes. All right, let's jump in.
Okay, cool. Movie quote quiz. Last week we had one full winner, and then 2 that partially got some. So Tara Briscoe got all 3. Chris Retzlaff, Nostromo got some of them. The answers: Judgment Night, Smokin' Aces, and Serendipity.
So I don't know what Judgment Night is.
Oh, really? Now, I don't know if it holds up. Okay, I don't know if it holds up. It is Jeremy Piven, Stephen Dorff, Dennis Leary.
Wow.
These guys are going to this boxing match or this boxing match. And it's like a guys' night out type of thing. They're adults, but they've rented an RV and they take a wrong turn and they end up in just the sketchy part of town. Dennis Leary's a kind of a gangster, drug dealer type of just not a good guy with his own gang, and they witness him do something. And so now he's after them. And so it's a chase. I mean, Dennis Leary is brilliant in this. I love some of the camera work too. This is the first time I think that I ever noticed when they would do the split screen type of thing, except it was more of, nowadays they have like a lens almost, or it's done in post where they'll put somebody up.
Post,
yeah. This was, you have, Dennis Leary's face at the half of it, and he's super close. And then you see the action behind, with them. And it was brilliant. I saw it opening weekend when it came out because I was in college and I had nothing else to do on the weekend. So we went to see movies every weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was perfect. It was the best existence there. But yeah, so I don't know if the movie holds up now, but in my mind, fond memories. So it was tense and definitely something to watch there.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So have you got 3 more for us?
I do have 3 more. This is like dear to my heart with the theme.
Okay.
I'm not sure everybody's going to get what the theme is, though.
Right.
Which I like. Okay. Number 1.
Yeah.
This movie was shot in 3B, 3 beers, and it looks good, eh? Okay. There's a part of that pretty much gives that one away, but that's okay. 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 The way you expressed your opinion to Bobby Ridgway, by the way, his testicle retrieval operation went quite well, in case you're interested.
Nice. Okay.
They call these guys bonies. They don't bother us much, but they'll eat anything with a heartbeat. I mean, I will too, but at least I'm conflicted about it.
And I know all of these, but I also can't name them. Damn it, Chris.
So let us know in the comments. The bonus points if you get the theme. But yeah, there you go. Ruben, now, do you have a question?
Yeah, this is a really fun, easy one, on point for us. Because for me, these change depending on my mood and time of year and what I've watched. Chris, off the top of your head, name your 4 current best movies.
The Way Back. We'll go with Lord of the Rings. Because all 3 are one extended edition, the only version that exists.
Yeah.
And while I normally wouldn't say this, I'm going to say The Martian because, as I've mentioned before, I watch it like 6 to 8 times a year.
Yeah.
It's just a happy movie for me. And I watch the extended edition now because my wife got me the 4K and it had the extended edition on there, so it's even better.
Okay.
Nice. What about you?
Mr. Right, same thing because I keep watching it with Kirsten over and over again. So much fun. It's probably my new kind of Grosse Pointe Blank. You know, it's kind of that sort of film that's taken up. I love everything about it. Still Kingdom of Heaven, director's cut. I can't get enough of that movie. Fifth Element, still up there. The 4th one, I want to change it up for like something new, like be fresh. I don't know what I've seen that has really blown me away recently, though. Like, there's been good stuff, but like, what has been phenomenal? Can you name one that's been phenomenal? That's been 5-star. We normally say like 4.5, but what's just been straight 5?
Well, I mean, like Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
but it does run that thing because we don't have an end of a story yet. So
and we're not getting one for like 5 years. So no, I can't.
Yeah. What are some movies? The Meg 2. How about that one?
Yes. The Meg 2.
Yeah, no, what were some movies? Yeah, I don't know. What were some movies that were like I mean, we watch so much stuff. I think that's the problem. Yeah, that it blurs very quickly.
I'd probably pick like an animated anime film, one of the many I've watched. Like One Piece Red this year was really good. Maybe that for now. But yeah, that's interchangeable. Like I have my couple of my favorites that probably never change, and then the other 2 will probably change over. Which is fun. I like that about movies that, depending on your mood, how you're feeling, you know, can be the best. I mean, Lord of the Rings, any time of day. I think that deserves its own kind of
this
thing.
This is true, yeah.
This is just any time of year, any time of day, whenever, I'll stick that on and be my happy place. So,
yeah.
Let us know in the comments, what are your current top 4? I think the 4 thing is nice. I've seen this going around on Twitter. People are giving their 4 images of their top favorites, and there's like sometimes there's a theme of like people like you can almost read the type of person that they are by their top 4. That for me is a lot of person. Like you can tell a lot about a person with the books that they have on their shelves, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I've got the
very
Berserk
true.
and Dodgy. Yeah.
But you have Heat 2. Have you started Heat 2?
I have. It's different.
Is
It's
different?
I mean, it's definitely written and makes you feel like you're in that space, which is clever. I haven't finished it, but yeah, it's good.
It's Gillian Flynn and Michael Mann, right? Together?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're together, so cool. At least written well. So
yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Shall we jump in?
I think so. I think so. You want to go first? You want me to go
click
first?
The portal, and I'll jump straight in.
Okay. German series. This might be on your list. Limited series, which I've actually seen a couple of limited series recently, and so I think that might be what we're going to, especially with the writer strike.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Well, I do too. I'm all for these contained stories.
One-off stories. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't leave us hanging, ideally. I mean, if it leaves us hanging and it's a limited series, well, then it was just a bad series, bad story. But it was on Netflix called Dear Child or Kind Liebeskind. I don't know.
Liebeskind. I think it
yes, there you go.
The hard German Afrikaans Dutch son. Yeah, the Kind.
Yeah.
Kind.
Yes. You and I had talked. It starts off a little bit feeling like Room with Brie Larson. It quickly changes.
Very quick.
Yeah. From that, this was tense, and it was disturbing tense. More so because, like, the premise is a woman's been kidnapped and held captive. We don't know for how long.
Yeah.
At least right off the bat. There are two children with her. She escapes. The woman escapes at one point, and which then starts an investigation because a girl matching her description went missing 13 years prior.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of where we are thrust into this world.
Yeah.
And then you think you know stuff, and you're trying to figure along the way. And like when they reveal something, you're like, woohoo! And you're like, oh, wait, no, it's not like
that. Yeah. So there were a couple of these little things. But what I loved about the movie, or the series, not the movie, was that, sure, there is some mystery in there, but it became so much less about the perpetrator. I mean, there was still that ongoing pursuit of who this is, who they were, and to catch them. But we're watching so much more the kidnapped woman, the children, the family of the abducted or missing girl, the detective who's working this, even the current detective who's working the current case. I mean, all of them moving and struggling with moving past, decisions or occurrences or their past. Whatever their history, or, and for the kids, they don't have a lot of history. So it's just out of their present, moving away from that, and we have this scene where, multiple times, the kids are forced inside the room to show their hands to their captor. And every time a stranger walks in afterwards to the young girl, she shows her hands, and it's a sign for her of trust, but it's also more so out of obedience. Yeah. It's gross, right? And you get to see in small glimpses, mostly through facial expressions and stuff, but how messed up this young girl has become because of the absolute conditioning that she has been put through. I mean, it's freaky and scary, and she needs you and I had been chatting because, like, she's going to need a lot of therapy to move past this.
Help, man.
Yeah, because the way she is at some points, especially with some of her looks, it's like, wow, it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Because but it's short. What, 6 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Was it 6 episodes? I liked the pace of it too. That it was It was efficient. It was moving along. I didn't get bored with it. I mean, I was like hooked in. It was funny. My wife was watching it with me, and she was preparing for her classes and, and lesson planning and everything else. And she's like, damn
sure,
it.
that helped.
Yeah, no, she was like,
So
she was
good.
just like, I didn't get any work done. What's going on? I'm like, I got sucked into the show. And so it's just, yeah. Anyway, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. You got to watch the German creators, man. From Dark to 1889. Is that what's it called?
1899.
1899. I'm still heart sore that was cancelled. I really wanted to find out what happened next. Even if they got like a movie to finish it off, that would have been great. Another reason why I like this series for being a contained story, because we don't have to worry whether they're going to be cancelled. For me, surprisingly, the kids were outstanding. The two main kids here, I just really appreciate when you get good actors with young kids. So the casting for this must have, it takes a while to cast kids that have presence, that don't overact, that you want the believability of kids being kids. Then you want the dialogue written for kids to act like kids, but not to come across as so cringy that you're not enjoying that's really hard to do. And then you have to have the skill as a director to be able to direct kids to how to act with adults. And somehow they nailed it, because the kids here, they do a lot of less is more. So they don't have many dialogue lines. There's a lot of looks, emotional moments. So much you can tell has gone on just from the looks that they're giving the viewer or giving someone else, that you can glean. You're like, oh, something's not right there. The kid won't say anything, but when they do say something, it's so heavy, and you're like, the connotations of what that means, of what they've gone through. There's a whole history that before they even begin showing you with flashbacks and stuff. Like, you get it. So I thought that was really clever storytelling. And then we get a few side stories that all kind of link back to the main arc, which I liked. I don't know if you remember the film Crash, where I think there's two. There's one that's like dodgy, but there's one that is separated into 4 stories, and so you have an event, and then all these people's lives you follow as this one event has affected it. And I really like it's kind of like what they did here. You have this one thing, and we follow all these threads. How one, not even simple, but this one person gets out of the situation, and then you see from the past 13 years ago how this has been continuing to happen. Every single person's life, how it's affected. And I think that's effective storytelling if you can bring it back. Because we've seen a lot of series where they've just gone, yeah, and this person was affected there, but then you never tell us what happens with them. You just leave them like, la la la. And I get it sometimes.
Maybe the audience won't notice.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, sometimes real life happens and you don't get to finish off all the stories. Fair enough. But this, I felt like it felt like you knew what happened to most of the characters that were important for the stories that they were telling. There was a young nurse in this story who I thought was phenomenal. She was so good. Real mothering spirit that I immediately just kind of like fell in love with, as like you want to hug from her, right? Like, she's so good at her job. Her bedside manner is excellent. She had to kind of bring out information from these kids without knowing them, with everything they've gone through, and she did such a great job. Obviously written that way on purpose, but I thought the actress played a fantastic job. So when stuff happens with this character, I was more emotionally invested, and that there are times in a series where you respond. I'm doing my best not to do any spoilers. You respond emotionally. The series will bring it out of you, and there was a couple of moments in this series where that did that. One was there was a violent moment with action that I was like, holy crap, dude. And then there was like emotional moments where I didn't see coming, and I was like, no, damn you. The series had a bundle of, just when I got to the end of this, like, that was so good. Contained story, really intense, harrowing. I need to go hug my kids now sort of story. But well told, yeah.
Nice. Right on. Well, if you haven't put this on your list, and you have Netflix, put it on there. Another German series, which is completely different, is How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. Have you seen that?
I have, yeah. The first season, yeah.
Oh, The third season kind of falls off a little bit, but it kind of declines a little bit. But the first season is just beautiful. I love it. Self-aware and everything.
Great.
Anyway.
Really, really good filmmaking from German creatives there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What's next, or what's first on your list?
What's first on my list? If we've already covered that one, there is a new British series that has just come out on Paramount Plus. It's in the UK. It's on Paramount. It's It's in Amazon Prime as that extra bit, because that's where we have Paramount Blood added onto, and we get most of the stuff, not all, but most. So it's a weird thing that's going on. Anyway, I stuck this on because I thought, 6 episodes, nice. A whole series, contained story, limited series for now, I think. And it's called The Killing Kind. And I don't know if you've ever seen the British series Merlin, or you know of it, but
I know of it.
The main character, who is Merlin, Colin Morgan, plays one of the main characters in this, John Webster, and he plays such a different character. He's like an ex-stalker creeper dude, and he plays it perfectly. So the story centers on a barrister named Ingrid Lewis, who defends John Webster, the Merlin dude, against the stalking charges, only for Webster to turn on her, which is not exactly right. He becomes a little bit infatuated with her, really loves her, and he's trying to protect her because something is happening in her life. The thing that's amazing about this series, apart from it being a contained 6-episode story, is that Kirsten and I, we literally went, it's this person in episode 1, and this person in episode 2, and this person in episode... By the time we got to 6, when the story was showing us who it was, we're like, nah, it can't be. And then when they went, and it's something else, and you're like, what? Compared to how much we've watched, we normally guess, you're right? Like at this point, we go, but that's fine. If I'm still enjoying it, I don't mind having guessed. This time, dude, I was like, it's this person, it's this person. It literally points at every single character. And the way it films it as well, all of them are a little bit like not a lot of dialogue, a lot of emotional staring and forlorn looks and romantic-esque but grey overtones. So there's this essence of mystery with every character that you have. Her friends, her co-workers, no one you really trust ever until like the story is completely revealed, because it's always pointing somewhat at something. And then when you trust someone, you're like, but then it will say, yes, but they were also involved in this part of the story. And you're like, damn it, I was just liking that person. How can I? So you're on edge, but you're also like, I'm smarter than this, am I not? It's in that way, it's really fun. I do think they string you along a little bit. So I think 5 episodes out of the 6, great. There's a few moments in the series it's just like, yeah, I feel like you're stringing me along. Some of those scenes are like, yes, but is it this person? Is it this person? Now the acting is fantastic. The actors do a really great job at portraying like the harrowingness of it. Our main protagonist is somewhat frustrating in her decision making at times and quite selfish. She has an arc where she's got to mature a bit. Her decision making at some times you're just like, I don't know. When so many people say so many people you love and trust in your life say don't be around that person, they're dangerous, and she goes, no, I'm gonna be around that person. Then you're like, okay, well, whatever trouble you find yourself in, you deserve it, sort of thing. But then the story will again pivot, and you'll be like, oh, okay. For someone that loves British series, that's a great mystery. That's perverts your idea of what's going to happen. Dude, this is right up your alleyway.
Dude, okay, so this is what's killing me, is that I pulled it up on IMDb and clearly states that it is a Paramount Plus production.
Yes.
That it's all out in the UK, came out on the 7th.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no U.S. release date. I even logged into Paramount Plus while you were talking, and they can't find it. It doesn't exist on Paramount Plus.
Ridiculous.
Why is this?
I know it's British, but it certainly this would do well everywhere.
I love a mystery where I am wrong so many times.
Right?
That is the best. I love it when I can't figure it out. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, just use a VPN. Come on.
I'm gonna have to, because this is. Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is right up my alley.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, for those of you on the audio that couldn't see it, Ruben was talking, especially towards the end, about, liking mysteries and British and dark and everything like that. I'm just pointing at myself, because totally that's me. Oh, man.
So what's next on your list?
I only watched I watched the first 4 episodes. The first 3 episodes of this series have dropped. Apples, The Changeling with Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah.
I don't. I love it. I don't know what's going on, which I kind of like even better. I'm with
every episode when it finishes, I'm like, I still don't understand what the hell is going on. They're hinting at some supernatural stuff, but it's also could totally be just mental people breaking down.
Well, yeah, and in the synopsis, even at the very beginning, I think with the narrator, they talk about it being a fairy tale. And, real fairy tales are dark and disturbing and just horrific morality plays, really, But this, I don't know. I mean, there's the way this goes is that this guy, Lakeith Stanfield, he plays Apollo, and he's
a god.
Yeah, well, he says that a lot, yes. Which has me wondering if he actually is at some point, if they're going to bring that in. I don't know. Yeah. But he's an everyman, which I really like. I mean, he's very relatable. He's just a casual guy. He sees a girl that he likes, and he's persistent and tenacious about asking her out. Yeah, basically, yeah. But he's kind, because she says no when he asks her out, and then he walks away. And then he comes back, and she says yes. And I think you see it in her eyes that she's not horrified by him or terrified from him.
No means no, Chris.
Well, it does, but to me, how it appeared in this is that she's flirting, But yeah, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, if they say no, just walk away, count your losses, and you're good to go. They finally, they get together, and they have a child, and that's not a spoiler. They get married, they have a kid, and things start to go wonky from there. There's weird stuff that goes on, like photos just kind of disappear. Yeah, you hear people yelling, "That's not a child," or "It's not a child," and you're like, "Wait, what?" I mean, even a bum on a street.
But even the title suggests that of what they're saying, right? Like you're like, "Oh, is that what they mean?"
Exactly. Well, and what's crazy too is because there are so many different. There are several shows and movies with this title.
Yeah, it's true.
And so but don't go in thinking that. That's the thing, because it's its own thing. I just wish they would have changed the title. I mean, I know it comes from a novel, but I wish he would have.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, the first 3 episodes go from mildly unsettling and cute-ish to then dark to then what the actual F is going on.
Okay, so I've seen the first 3, and I thought the third one jumped a scale. Like, it was way dark.
The way it opens up, you're like, oh,
holy crap, this is
wait, how did we get here?
Yeah, when did this happen? Like, this is a major shift.
Yeah, well, and I love how it ends. Because they say Lakeith Stanfield's character comes across a revelation type of thing.
Oh, he says a word.
Yeah,
like,
and
with
you're
a question mark. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
It also doesn't answer anything, just gives you more questions.
No, and it was funny because I watched it early for the review and my wife didn't get an opportunity to watch with me. So yesterday she was catching up and so she watched the 3 episodes and she keeps stopping it and she's like, what is it mean? I'm like,
what is happening?
Yeah, I just look at her. I just smile. And I'm just like, and then
it's quite fun though, the way they set it out. There's like confirmation of weirdness going on, which I like. Because there's moments where, how do I, without spoilers, the wife would have seen something and you think she's nuts. And then later on, somebody else sees something and you're like, oh, okay, then. That's too much of a coincidence.
Yes. So have you watched past episode 3?
No, we just watched the 3. Yeah.
Okay, because it gets even more
more weird.
Not
so there's
more
8
weird.
episodes, right?
Yeah, and you know me. I'm more of the proponent of drop them all at once. Let me watch at my leisure, or let me get my binge on. Yeah. I don't like being strung along week to week.
Yeah.
I do like that these are like 45, 50-ish minutes. So that makes me better. But this, oh my gosh, I think this is a series that will literally keep you coming back week after week because
the reason why it's not on the best thing I watched this week list is because I'm worried that it's not going to stick the landing. I feel like they're stringing us along and they were like, is it or isn't it? And then will we even care when we hit that like episode 8 and they do the reveal? Will the reveal be worth the 8 hours of, oh, this is cool? Because so I'm worried because we've gone through a lot of these. From as a classic, what the hell is going on?
Oh,
and then you just feel like you're being strung along the whole time.
Because I've seen episode 4, we do progress in the story. Which makes me feel better about this. Again, you're absolutely right. They may just blow the landing completely, but it continues us on. It moves us forward in this. While I still don't totally understand what's going on, I have a better glimpse now of it as some really loud bike goes by my house. Okay,
I can't hear it.
Oh, you can't? Oh, no, that's good.
I can now.
Yeah. Because Chris did sound effects.
Some annoying person is making odd sounds.
So I mean, I totally get it. Your worries, I think, are substantiated because we have been burned way too many times. But because it's Apple, it does give me a little
That's true. And
bit more.
Lakeith Stanfield, man. I mean, we haven't even spoken about the acting. The flipping wife scenes with him, like the Ramon scenes were brilliant, but the intense scenes that they have with each other on screen are just brilliant, but harrowing. Like, dude, and it's so creepy. It's got a Stephen King vibe to it. A little, like, even more so. I was thinking Carpenter. It has a real monster vibe to it.
Yeah,
but not necessarily has been. Well, for me, so far, nothing has been shown except like we had missed. Again, harking back to Lost. You know, just little things that you're thinking of, like, what is this? This is so weird.
Yeah, totally. No, it is. Yeah, I like too that it's unseen. So much of this so far, you know what I mean? It reminds me of kind of like Rosemary's Baby, or you know, some of these older where they're building all of the atmosphere, like things are happening to the characters and we witness the characters experiencing things or, you know, viewing things or whatever that is, but we're not actually shown what they see or what's harrowing to them until later on. Yeah. And as long as they don't tease us along with something stupid, then I'll be okay. If we get towards the end and it's like a cheap twist, then I'm sorry, you wasted my time then, and that's not okay. Yeah. So as it stands right now, I'm loving it. I will probably, if I get the opportunity, this week coming up is very, very busy with content. I don't understand why. But if I have the opportunity, I'm going to finish the rest of it just to, just so I can see before everybody else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What's next on yours?
What's next is I'm going to change my battery.
Okay.
I'm actually sat in my boxes, so I thought I'd properly switch camera off.
At least you're wearing pants or something.
Yeah. It's so hot, dude. It's horrible.
Dude, in San Francisco, for the longest time, there was, and it may still be in existence, there was not a ban on public nudity. So you could walk around nude. And most people did not do this, but some did. Okay, whatever. The biggest issue that and the argument that always came up, which I think is a very legitimate one, is when the nude people would get on public transit. You need to bring a towel with you, and you need to set it down.
You should put that on the seat, man. That is
just out of respect for everybody
kosher.
else. Your swass, your swuss, your swalls, all of that needs to just stay with you.
So you could just be naked, absolutely butt naked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, top to bottom.
What about the little kids and stuff?
Well, I mean,
how was that okay?
It's not like it was sexualized. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it.
But it just doesn't feel right.
Well, no, I agree with that. I mean, it's well, and it's certainly weird. But I mean, in America, we have a very weird, also bent on demonizing nudity, but embracing violence.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Right? Because Europe is completely the opposite. They demonize violence, and nudity is just, well, it's just your body, you know, and there you go. And which I think is the right balance to have because, well, America. So
America. Talking of America.
Yes.
I finished watching a series that I've been enjoying, been watching like week on week, actually. I know you reviewed, I think, the first couple of episodes. Lioness Special Ops.
Oh, yeah.
This was a really nice breath of fresh air in terms of, you know, all those series we get, like, you got SWAT, like, there's so many American series. This felt less like Americanized serial TV, more like a movie that was broken up into, like, chunks of a single story. So rather than having that episodic, you know, solving the case of the day, we had this young woman whose only way to escape her life that she was in was going to be in a Marine, and then she kind of was perfect for being in the Lionesses, which is being heavily undercover and taking down the target, whether you can do that by yourself or kind of put a little red dot in him and have him explode. But if you've seen the beginning, first episodes show, well, literally the first episodes show how things go badly wrong, and if you're discovered, you die. And so the story really, I thought it was quite beautiful and well done. So when you get the action sequences, they're fantastic, believable. Later on in the series, because I think, Chris, you're yet to get there, there's like when the team work together, they're so precise that the actors, you forget that they're actors. You just feel like, oh, I'm watching a movement of guys being sent out on mission. And it's done in a way that's realistic, but also looks cool in TV. So you know there's a balance between what looks good on screen and what is accurate. Like all that. For me, the heart of the show is when we see our leader, what's her name?
Is that Zoe Saldana?
Zoe Saldana, yeah. When she's having to interact with her family. So you got Dave Annabelle, who plays Neil. He's a surgeon, and then you got her daughter as well. There's these moments where you see her life as she really wants to be there for her daughter, who's going through her own massive issues. And it's seeing the dad trying to balance this broken relationship with his wife and being a dad and mother, basically, to the daughter. And then whenever the mother comes back, she's trying to implement herself into their lives. Now we see this family go on a massive arc during the 8 episodes. Like, they really kind of come together as a family unit and work out all their crap. But you see how much of a toll this type of lifestyle takes on being the leader of this and trying to compartmentalize family units and then that doesn't always work. It kind of bleeds across. And so then we have this interesting relationship where she's formed with her new the new character, Lisla de Oliver is the actress, but Cruz is basically the character that she's taken under her wing, put through the ropes, harrowing like training, like the worst, like to see if she will break. And she is embedded, as we've seen right at the beginning, but she's embedded with this young woman that she's got to befriend to get close to the bad guy. The thing is, she gets really close. And again, she's now having to compartmentalize a relationship with what her job is. And then actually realizing that the people that they're targeting are humans and actually nice. So I think this is the good thing about storytelling. When you can show that bad guys aren't just bad guys and evil, they're multifaceted. And what you think is evil, they might not think is evil. There's a really interesting story that this series goes on where they show the upper echelons. They have like a top 10 hit list, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can get one of the agencies, you can be in the news if you can get one of those top 10. So this is the reason why they're targeting the CIA with their special forces are trying to do this as the Lioness trying to take off doing their jobs. But once you see the bigger wigs realize that they're going to do their job, suddenly things start to take a turn because the person they're trying to attack is responsible for a ridiculous amount of oil control, and that would actually change the shape of their business. And you're like, oh my gosh, this rings so true. And so you have that kind of realism in the story. You have them trying to compartmentalize their jobs basically with their personal lives, and then you have the people on the ground floor who are doing their jobs for people that are basically dicks. And that is and it's told really well. So by the time you get to the end, you're like, I want to know more. I want to see more of this series. But I love the characters. They've done a really good job and the acting ability of Cruz as well was fantastic. I mustn't forget the woman that she acts with, Stephanie Nur, who is Alia. She has so much presence on screen, and what she goes through, she's basically enjoying her life before she's been sold off to be married to a person because she doesn't get to choose. And she knows that once she's married, she's about to do what her husband says, wear the clothes like the culture dictates, cover her face. Like before then, she's actually having some semblance of a life. Yeah. Afterwards, life is gone. It
changes.
And you feel it. Like, it's great. Nicole Kidman is this. She's more in it than I expected, which is great. Morgan Freeman plays a douchebag. I don't like seeing him as the douchebag. No, you're the good guy, right? This is a surprise. This was good.
Awesome. Yeah, somebody hit me up on Twitter that had watched it because I had talked about it. And they were like, oh my gosh, this was not even on my radar. And it makes me now, in hearing you, I want to finish the series because I just fell off of it. I love when a story can humanize the bad guy and make you as the audience member feel conflict about, because it's easy to just root against the bad guy because they're evil.
There's without doing spoilers, because we know the daughter, that the father is the bad guy, so we know that's why she's been implemented to.
Sure, yeah.
There is a moment where we meet the bad guy, and he's in his boxes in the kitchen eating ice cream, and the nicest guy, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, this is real. He doesn't see himself as the bad guy in his world. He isn't. He isn't, anybody will buy the oil. I'll sell it to whoever wants to buy from me. I'm just a businessman. And you're like, I get it. It's tough.
Well, and wouldn't it be funny to take that character but place them in America and make them an American? Because that same argument would be like, oh yeah, no, how dare you try and
they confront that.
Nice.
Well, our main character makes that, said you just this. And the consequence. So the consequence of taking that guy out, if they manage to do it, is then they're basically saying, "Oh, the Americans did this. See, we're justified in our hate." It's a really interesting conversation to have. I thought it was really well told, really well done.
Nice, that's great. Sweet. Yep. Okay. Gonna have to finish it.
Yeah. Do it.
Cool. Last week, for our Patreon, we did a video of our top 5 musicals.
Yes.
And it just got my brain thinking, and then we were having discussions as a family. Kids come over for dinner once a week, and we'll either play a game or we watch a movie or whatever. Yeah. And we've had a couple of movies on our list that were like, oh, we need to watch this or whatever. And then I don't know why, but because my daughter-in-law has never seen Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so we were like, oh my gosh, we have to watch that. That is going to be outstanding. I can't wait to see this. And then I was like, but you know what I really want to see? I want to watch Moulin Rouge. And then everybody was like, oh, I want to watch Moulin Rouge too. And so we ended up watching Moulin Rouge.
Oh, great. Okay.
It's been quite a few years since I've watched it.
By the way you talk about it, I felt like you watched it every year.
Yeah, no, the music, now I have listened to the soundtrack, like if it were actually like a cassette tape or vinyl, I would have like eaten through it from listening to it so much. But I mean, the songs are amazing. I do like the story. I think it's quirky enough, to have some humor in it, but it is also wildly dark and sad, especially as you have Ewan McGregor pining after Nicole Kidman and their relationship that starts out mistaken and then fake and then real, and then her conflict of the boy that I love is going to be killed if I don't push him away. I'm going to save him, but I can't tell him this. Why? I don't know. Why wouldn't you just tell him? You know what I mean? And then, her dealing with her own health issues and stuff. And the movie is frenetic. There are parts of it that I remembered liking more than when I rewatched it.
Interesting.
The first time that we enter into the Moulin Rouge and Jim Broadbent is there as Zidler, and they're doing all the different dances and stuff. I mean, the music is still great. I love the mishmash of modern songs, and like because he takes several songs and pushes them together with different lyrics and different music. I mean, you got Nirvana in there and whatever that French word is with Lady Marmalade. It felt a little rough, I think, at the beginning in that part of it too, before it found its groove again. Right. Because I love the beginning of it. I love where Ewan McGregor,
he has a son, but I don't know what his son's name is.
Yeah. I think I was going to say Ethan Hawke or Ethan Hunt, neither of which are correct, and one is only a fake person. But like the beginning where he takes over for the playwright, and they're putting the spectacular together. The movie's a little long. It's over 2 hours, which is longer for like a musical type thing. Not if you were seeing something on a stage, but as a movie version,
Have you seen the theater production?
I've never seen it. No, I don't even know if that could work well. Just because the movie version bounces us around to different spots so quickly, there are some wonderful montage moments that and it's not unique to this movie. I mean, you see them in Les Miserables, you see them in a lot of musicals where it becomes an ensemble piece, but a song is happening here, and yet it's illustrating something different, even though there's a ton of action going on, with the one who's singing. And that's when they're doing Roxanne. And then you have Nicole Kidman with the Duke, who looks like a rat. I mean, he literally looks like a rat when he's on there.
I need to watch it. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, no, give it a go. It. I think what continues to be the draw for me still is the music within this. That I love the soundtrack so much, and "Come What May" is my favorite song in the whole thing.
Yeah,
it is. And I love, still really appreciate that they are the ones singing it.
Yeah.
That you have Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman, and hey, they can do it. They can carry the tunes, and it.
I still love Romeo and Juliet, and for me, that is my favorite Baz Luhrmann's version of Romeo and Juliet. I love.
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
It's the one that made me understand it properly, like because I understood phrases and parts, but because if you go back and listen to the old timey language, you almost need a code, right, to Shakespeare language. So you go and listen to, but with the visual story, with the way they sing it, is so good. And I'm not a huge fan of Baz Luhrmann, but that for me was excellent.
That is the most tragic version that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean it's depressing.
You have her waking up as he's taken the poison, and him seeing her waking up, knowing that she's not dead, and yet he's just killed himself.
Yeah, it's dreadful.
Way more powerful. Yeah, way more powerful than one dying and then the other one waking up to see the dead one. And okay, yeah, so one of them was traumatized. So you know what I mean, but not.
So good, nice. So my next one is part of Over 9,000. So we'll just over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
It's the best thing I watched this week. Which actually, to be fair, was a surprise and a happy surprise because Netflix released a new anime. It's 6 episodes long. It's GAMERA Rebirth, or GAMERA, however you pronounce it. GAMERA. Yeah, I think
maybe
that's right.
I don't know.
GAMERA. Yeah. Surprisingly, each episode is 40 minutes long. So it's weird that it's not like the standard 25 anime and then have 12 episodes. Instead, they've gone for the Netflix kind of 6 episodes series with 40 minutes an episode, which is great actually because the way it runs, it gives you time to really know the characters. I expected this to be really kiddie. We had a similar Godzilla series recently that was kind of dumbed down for kids. That makes sense. This one, even though it's a 12, there's a bunch of F-bombs, there's a bunch of, I was so surprised it's a 12.
Really?
There's some proper gore, hands being decapitated, bodies, going splatter. I was like, well, okay, they're really pushing the boundaries of what you can do with the 12. I did make a funny joke in my review saying that if you don't think your kids swear, you're deluding yourself. Maybe not in front of you, but behind your backs for sure. With their friends, whatever your background is, kids, and actually, I don't trust people that don't swear. So we'll just that's a different subject. That's a different topic. We can go on a tangent about that. How creatively it's good for you to sometimes let loose. Not all the time. My grandmother would like, let me wash out your mouth with a bar of soap. Yeah. Anyway,
he said, "What? Yeah, come here, Sonny Jim."
GAMERA Rebirth, 6 episodes, has 3 kids it starts off with that are splitting up to go their separate ways. They're moving apart in Japan, and so there's one kid wants to make a radio tower. They're trying to save up money so that they have these long distance walkie-talkies. They're going to connect it. He's quite smart, and that's that you're kind of rooting for them because you can see how much they've been involved in each other's lives. One of them kids getting bullied by an American kid who's on base with his dad. And surprisingly, he ends up being the 4th member of the group. There's a nice growth there where bully becomes friend sort of thing. Thankfully, as a GAMERA fan, if you were hoping that there were a lot of kaiju smackdown, there's a lot of kaiju.
Oh, nice.
Literally every episode, you're going to get GAMERA. In case you didn't know, Godzilla's the weird reptilian-shaped lizard dude. This time we have a turtle. So, and he's massive. And for those that don't know, GAMERA has a bunch of things he can do as a turtle, like fly. Okay? So, giant Godzilla creature that's turtle-sized, that flies and has other superpowers like spinny stuff. If you've seen some of the original movies, you know what he can do. So you get smackdowns, but you also get a nice, interesting government story that sort of takes center stage, but is nicely incorporated with what's going on. I hated the Godzilla movies that center more on the people than the monsters. This has a nice kind of mixing of, you need the monsters to help the people, you need the people to help the monster, and there's a balance of that. I actually ended up really caring about the characters and what's happening with them, with the kids at least, hating some of the humans as you do normally.
As you should.
Humans are going to do stupid things, and rooting for Gamera to do his thing. There were moments when he was like doing stuff, was like, come on, when the score kicks in for his theme, like second or third episode in, you know it, and it like every time there's like a fight sequence, it looks good, even though there's a mix of that 3D kind of 3D CG animation that they do. They have like a 2D backgrounds as well. Characters look that mix of 3D, and it works. Doesn't always work, but it works for this. This was surprisingly good, and I could stand to watch a lot more of this.
Do you get the sense that there will be more? Like they'll do more seasons?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Sure. There's a contained story, but if you watch at the end of the credits, there's another kind of, this is what we're hoping to do with this character. I'm like,
fun.
I'm down for that.
Nice. Very cool. Are there more in your over 9,000?
Yeah, I can talk about one more.
Okay.
I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. Every now and again, I'll touch on that. We had to wait for a couple of weeks because there was like this break, whatever break that they had. We've had 2 more episodes, and the first half is kind of like a filler, getting us to get to know the characters again, or really just kind of giving them a break before they encounter the next thing that's going to go wrong for them. Then you get the second half of the 2 episodes that we've had, and then this like full episode. And I have to say, this was one of their smartest ideas of what they did. I think they hired out the animators for one of the best robotic animes. Neon Genesis, I think it's Neon Genesis Evangelion, because they're not predominantly, they're not at all a mech. They're more Shonen Jump, fighting, lots of action going on screen, but there's nothing to do with mechs. But for this episode and a half, there is a mech. So they got the people that know how to do it best, got them to incorporate into their story, and it's so beautiful. When Samuel had seen it, he ran into me like, Dad, it's so beautiful, it's moving me. He just like, and then left the room. I was like, all right, I better watch what's going on. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is pretty spectacular. So if you've been wanting to catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen, forgotten it because you knew there was a break, and worth getting back into just to watch that one episode and how they deal with that animation, yeah, a lot of fun.
Sweet. Very cool. Okay. Do you have more on your list?
No, that's it.
That's everything? Yeah. All good to go? Okay. Thank you for joining us on this. We would love to hear what are some of the best things that you watched this week. Let us know in the comments. It always helps us with either recommendations or maybe something that we want to stay away from. Even if it was your best thing. No. Coming up, though, in the exclusive audio part, we're going to be talking about the live-action Little Mermaid, our thoughts on that. We are going to talk about some movies that did not, or shows that did not make our list. Mine is actual poo. I mean, it is just terrible. So you want to stay tuned for that. We'll also be hitting up entertainment news and just a crap ton of content and titles that are releasing in this next week. So stay tuned for that, because if you mark down an entertainment calendar or what to watch, I mean, we're going to give you a bunch to choose from there. We have our Patreon opportunity for just £1. It's patreon.com/thebeardedones. It's over 60 videos, like Ruben had said. Some are outside the paywall. New ones going up each week. Last week we did top 5 musicals. This week is top 3 deceased directors, which sounds morbid, but I think it'll be a good discussion there. Also, what am I thinking? Oh, like, share, subscribe, all the YouTubey things. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, Nicolas, Movies and Munchies. With that, we will see you next week. Take care.